How many games will the New York G-Men win in 2023? What's going on, Giants fans? It's Mitch here with your record prediction for the Giants in 2023, going game by game, pick by pick, providing my analysis on the Giants 2023 schedule. If that sounds good, don't forget to spike the like button and let me know in the comments your prediction for the Giants record this season. Let's go. The G-Men made the playoffs in 2022. Will they repeat that feat in 2023? Let's break down their schedule, which is definitely tougher than last year. There's reason to believe that they might regress, but there's also reason to believe with their roster improvements, they might actually get better. So, let's check it out. Week number 1, you play the Dallas Cowboys. Because it's Sunday night at home, to start the season, a full off season to prepare, Brian Daboll, Wink Martindale, I feel like there's a chance you come out and win this game. Last year, you got swept by Dallas. Their pass rush gave you a lot of issues. I kind of feel like that's going to happen again. Would I be shocked if the Giants won? No, but I do think Dallas is the better team. I actually have them as an elite team this year, like better than last year. I think their defense is very tough, and their offense has a lot of balance to it, which keeps you on your toes. So this could be like a one-score game, in my opinion, but I do expect the Cowboys to come out on top because if there's a flaw and a big mismatch, it's the Giants' O-line and my lack of faith in that unit compared to the Cowboys' pass rush. Week 2, you play the Cardinals. That should be a comfortable win. You should be able to go out there and win. Better coaching staff. Obviously, you're familiar with Jonathan Gannon. Doesn't have nearly the talent he had in Philadelphia, and probably no Kyler Murray. So you should come out on top in that game for sure. Week number 3, the 49ers on a short week. This one could be a more competitive game than a lot of people think, depending on the Niners quarterback situation, because I think that Brock Purdy is a lot better than a lot of people think. Like, I think he's a good quarterback. I'm not so sure about Sam Darnold or Trey Lance. So if you're a Giants fan, you're hoping for Trey Lance or Sam Darnold, and the Niners do typically start the season slow, but it's a short week on the road against Kyle Shanahan, a vicious pass rush, arguably the best defense in football. So I'm going to take the Niners, but I do think it's going to be a close game. Week 4, you play kind of an opposite scenario. A team that might be better than you, or at least just as good in Seattle, I think is a playoff team this year. But it's Monday night at home, right? So you've got that extended rest. You have a team from the West Coast going to the East Coast. You played them last year, so there's some familiarity, although you did lose, I believe. And it's the opposite setting. Last year was in Seattle. This year, I think you win this game. I think that it's just a tough scenario for the Seattle Seahawks. I also think your defense has gotten better since that game. So I'm going to take the Giants for those reasons. Week 5, the Miami Dolphins. Tough game. I think Miami wins in Miami. I just think Wink is going to be really aggressive. That's just his nature. And if you're super aggressive against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, you're going to have some troubles. Like, there's going to be some plays in this game where they backfire when you blitz. So I think Miami takes advantage of that. I also think their defense is pretty strong. So I'm going to take the Dolphins at home. Week 6, it's a huge game. It's Brian Daboll's reunion with the Buffalo Bills. I think most people will pick the Bills here. I'm actually going to pick the upset. I'm picking the Giants. The reason I'm picking the Giants is I'm picking Brian Daboll. I'm picking his familiarity with the Bills, with Josh Allen, with that team, with that offensive scheme to help Martindale prepare, which, by the way, Martindale has done a good job, a very good job against Josh Allen in the past with the Ravens. I also think that the offense for the Giants will have some tricks up its sleeve for a defense in Buffalo that I don't think is going to be quite as good as years past. Then week 7, you play the Washington Commanders. This will be a tough game. It's a divisional matchup, but at home, I'm going to say you beat the Commanders. Not much has to be said there other than maybe, the fact that something that would hurt you against Miami may help you against a young quarterback, Sam Howell, who might be a little bit like frantic and a little bit confused. against a team that's blitz happy and creative and all over the place in the secondary and moving a bunch of pieces everywhere. Like, that might get you some turnovers, get you some sacks, some strip sacks, things of that nature that help you win this game. Week 8, the New York Jets. This game could go either way because it's New York versus New York. I think the Jets have more talent, but I like the Giants coaching staff more. I think Rodgers is obviously better than DJ, but I think both can have really good games. I think the Jets defense is what wins them this game. I just think their ability to have speed, to be able to cover those Daniel Jones run plays along with Saquon from breaking a big play, on top of their pass rush being pretty good, their secondary being awesome. I think the Jets defense is what gives them the edge in this matchup for me. Plus, it's not a lot of travel. It's literally in the same stadium. So that will be awesome, though, to watch. Week 9, you got the Raiders. I got the Raiders, okay? So I have you losing 2 in a row. I think the Raiders offense is really tough. I think the Raiders offense, they got Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow. They drafted Michael Mayer. They've got Jacoby Myers. Obviously, Josh Jacobs. I think Jimmy's going to do a good job. I think that offense is going to be tough. I think this is going to be a shootout. And I think ultimately in Vegas, it's not the easiest place to play. It's a really awesome stadium. I think this is going to be a really great game. One of the most exciting all year. Back and forth. I think the Raiders will just pull it out at home. Week 10, you play the Cowboys. I think you get swept by the Cowboys. I do. Could I be wrong about this? Yes, I absolutely could. I think you could win one of the games. But, maybe I'll change my mind. Okay? We'll get back to that one because I need to think about it. Week 11, I'm going to say the Commanders beat you once this year. I think the reason for it is both games last year, I do believe, were extremely competitive, very close, and defensive. And the reason for that is Washington's defensive line is awesome. So I think they steal one of these games because of how good their defensive line is at times if they're healthy. So I'm going to say Washington wins. Week 12, you play the Patriots. As a Pats fan, I went through the scenarios. I feel like New England is probably the better team. Like, I think their defense is stronger. Their coach, obviously. Their offense will be a lot better this year with proper direction from Bill O'Brien, but they don't have anything that super scares you if you're an opponent. But I think the Giants, there's just something in the back of my mind about, like, Daboll is familiar with Belichick. Like, he comes from that school of thought. I think Martindale's style of defense could give a team like New England some issues because they're not super explosive. And I also feel like it's the Giants playing the Patriots in New York, and I've lived through 2 Super Bowl losses and multiple other losses. I feel like the Giants are going to win. I just do, even as a Patriots fan. Then we got the bye. Then we got a Monday night game against Jordan Love and the Packers. I think you win this game at home, New York. Jordan Love, I think, will be a little bit out of his element. I don't think the Packers are that good. You beat them last year with Aaron Rodgers. You should beat them without Aaron Rodgers. Week 15, you play the Saints. This is a big game. It's a big swing game. I've got the Saints. It's a tough place to play. It's a good defense. I'm not a huge fan of the coaching staff, but Derek Carr is a mature quarterback. He's seen everything. They've got good receivers, a really good running back. I think they're a talented team, and at home, I'll take the Saints. I got the Eagles on Monday Night Football to beat you guys. I just think you're not going to beat the Eagles. There's too much of a gap in talent, in my opinion, especially at the line of scrimmage. I just feel like they dominated you in such a way that I can't pick you to win. Maybe you beat them this year, but I just can't pick you to beat them, if that makes sense. I need to see something out of the Giants to suggest that they'll beat the Eagles, so I haven't seen that yet. Week number 17, the Rams, late in the season. I'm not even sure if Stafford will still be upright at this point. It's a good place to play the Rams at home, traveling from west to east late in the season when they don't have a lot of depth. They're going to be tired. I think the Rams lose, Giants win. And the final week, I'm going to take the Eagles as long as they got to play for something. If they don't have to play for anything, then maybe I'll pick the Giants there. But I can't pick the Giants to beat the Eagles until I see something that suggests they can beat them. So ultimately, I have you with this schedule breakdown 7-10, but I actually do remember that I had you beating the Cowboys once in my Cowboys prediction. And the reason for that was Dallas plays Washington and the Giants very close in proximity. And I feel like they're not going to beat both teams. I think they're going to be a little bit worn out. On top of that, I just think that the Giants with their coaching staff against Mike McCarthy and company, I think they'll be able to coach up one win. Even though Dallas is a better team, I think that the Giants should be able to coach up one win. So ultimately, against this really hard schedule where you play the AFC East, the NFC East, some other good teams too, I have you at 8-9, which is very respectable. Now, is that enough to make the playoffs? In the NFC, it might be. It might be. So I don't really know yet, honestly, because I've only gone through a couple divisions. So we'll see. But the Giants, I think this is a case where they're actually more talented than last year. But I think they're not going to get as lucky. They're not facing as easy of a schedule. And I just think the bounces won't go their way in some of these close games the way it did last year. But would I be shocked, like I said, if you won 9 or 10 games? No. If you won 7, I wouldn't be surprised either. But that's the way I see the Giants season going. A very competitive team, but not a great team. 8-9 is my projection. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. If you agree, if you disagree, where you disagree, let me know in the comment section below. It's Mitch. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the rest of my record predictions in the NFC and the NFC East. Peace.